Saturday evening. I'm on West Coast time, so it's after 5:30 p.m. So I hope you're doing well, and I'm hoping that you're having a nice weekend. And again, welcome, welcome everyone. And today we're going to be talking about fishing through uncertain times, and not just fishing for fish, but fishing for peace, patience, clarity, and maybe even connection. So, if you enjoy fishing or you're wanting to learn how to fish, please drop in the comments where you enjoy fishing or what are some of the things you want to learn about fishing. I'm not an expert. I'm still learning as I go, but I enjoy the piece of fishing. So, again, if you're new here, my name is Veronica, and I help people navigate through uncertain times. And uncertain times, as we know, looks different for everyone. Many of us are navigating financial concerns or job losses, navigating taking care of parents. We're part of that sandwich generation. Some people are navigating having loved ones that are incarcerated. So, no matter what you're navigating, I usually have some suggestions or resources for that. And this comes from either personal experience or professional experience or people that I've worked with in a professional on a professional level or personally helping them navigate uncertain times. So, um, on that note, we'll go ahead and get back to it. And as I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about fishing through uncertain times. And as I mentioned, we're not just fishing for fish, but we're fishing for peace, patience, clarity, and maybe even connection. So, sometimes life feels loud. Bills are loud. Family stress is loud. The news is loud. But when you're sitting near the water, waiting on that line, something shifts. You're forced to slow down. You're forced to breathe. You're forced to be patient. And that is what I love so much about fishing, because it teaches me and forces me, hey, slow down. A fish is going to bite when it's ready to bite. And I just take in the scenes, I take in the breeze, I take in the sight of the water, the waves, and the other people fishing. And that's a way also to connect with others that are fishing on the bank. And everyone's always so peaceful and willing to help one another. And, my favorite thing to ask is what are they using for bait, especially if, they're catching. So I find it definitely a way for connection and a way to be me and not be a perfectionist, not being the best fisherwoman. I don't know how you would say it, but fisherman out there, just being me and learning as I go. And it just brings so much peace. Then again, and for some of us, fishing is solitude. Just like I mentioned, it's solitude for me when I'm fishing alone. For others, it's a way to spend quiet time, with our kids, our parents, our partners, or someone we're trying to rebuild with. You don't always have to have the perfect words. Sometimes sitting side by side is the healing. Just looking at the water, you're nodding or you're motioning, offering a drink out of the cooler, offering to maybe help bait the line. Um, I know some of us don't like touching worms or things like that. That stuff doesn't bother me one bit, as long as there's soap and water around for me to wash my hands when I'm done. Yes, if you don't know, I am a germaphobe. So, yeah, as long as it's soap and water, I'm good to go. So, some of the talking points I wanted to, cover, such as fishing as solitude. Fishing gives you that permission to sit still without having to explain yourself. It can be prayer, reflection, or just a quiet reset. And who doesn't need a quiet reset, especially nowadays in navigating these uncertain times? For some people, fishing can serve as, relationship repair. Sometimes strained relationships need low pressure time. No big speeches, no forced conversation, just shared snacks. My favorite part. Shared snacks, shared silence, and maybe a little laughter when the fish steals the bait. That always happens to me. Always. Well, hello there. Hello, Iris Gonzalez. Thank you for being there or being here with me. So, and another important point is fishing is affordable piece. During uncertain times, not everyone can take a vacation, but a lake, pond, river, or canal can become a small retreat. And that is something I definitely enjoy, especially as I visit over here in California. They have lots of lakes and so on. And um, there are some ways that, some California residents can get, free admission into their state park. So, look that up. And even as a visitor, I think if you have a library card, you're able to take advantage of some of those perks too. So definitely look that up. And there, if you look in your state, sometimes they have, days where there's free fishing or free entry into the park. So, and usually the admission is not too much for parking. So definitely, look into that because it's affordable. I know when I fished here at Lodi Lake, I think it was $10 a day. But as I mentioned, if you're a California resident or you have a library card, sorry about that, the dog's chasing squirrels. You are able to enter for free. And in Nevada, most entry is free, or there's a few parks that are like $5. So again, very affordable. Take your lunch, take your, fill your cooler, your picnic basket, whatever, and go hang out at a fishing pond or lake or river. Um, it's just, it's definitely relationship repair and affordable. So, as I mentioned already, it also builds patience when you're out there. So, you cast, you wait, you adjust, and you try again. That's life right there. The fish, be teaching you skills without charging you a coaching fee. That's the way I like to look at it. So, and also the lesson is not always to catch. Sometimes you leave with no fish, but you still come home lighter, and that's what counts. And that's what I enjoy the most about fishing, whether I catch something or I don't. And it also gives me time to reflect. So, you know, let me know if you like, fishing alone or do you like fishing with family or friends? Um, and if you do fish, what has fishing taught you about patience? Have you ever had a healing conversation while fishing? And what's your favorite fishing memory? And do you fish for food, peace, fun, or all three? I'd really like to know. So, as I mentioned, fishing, it definitely it builds patience. It can rebuild relationships, and it can give you that solitude. So when while navigating these uncertain times, please feel free to, explore fishing if you've never gone fishing before. It's never too late to start. And I think it's a great hobby, great sport. And speaking of hobbies, so many of us are so wrapped up in the busyness of the world, we don't even have hobbies. When someone asks, what is your hobby? You have to think like, and then when they ask, well, what do you enjoy doing? And many of us don't know. We're still figuring that out because we live in a world that is so busy, so loud, and it just has you sometimes on that hamster wheel where you're always go, 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 go. So As I close out here, I do hope this conversation helped you slow down, reflect, or think about reconnecting with someone. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with somebody who needs a peaceful reset. And keep me in mind if you need help organizing your next season of life, documents, transitions, re entry, support, family planning, or softer living tools. Check me out on my website, and that's www.softerlifebeyondtrauma.com, or check out my blog posts, and that's at healthylifecoach702.com. And I did see someone ask what my favorite ice cream is. Um, I like more of the fruity stuff, so I like orange sherbet, rainbow sherbet, um, and pina colada. So maybe that's something to have, in your cooler for fishing, or stop off and get a cone as you're headed to the lake. But on that note, again, I thank you so much for being here. And please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and have a good rest of your evening. And again, I thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.